What's the difference between Spooky Karma and Spider Karma? Spooky Karma is like a full control deck that runs like some amount of ruinations and basically tries to not play for the board at all. Usually they're not running Brood Awakenings, although some of them will do it just for chump blockers. Whereas Spider Karma also plays for late game, but it's a lot more tempo oriented. You're still running like the 2 or 3 Rekindlers, probably 3. You're still playing for that late game condition, but you do have a bit of a tempo option, and you're running Elise basically. As soon as you're running Elise, it becomes Spider Karma. Against Demacia, Mystic Shot tends to not be very great early. There's nothing really at 2 health that you just want to kill. A Thermo Beam to downtrade a War Chefs is fine. Like 3 mana to 2 mana, you'd take it. War Chefs is fucking scary. And a Blaze Edge or Fleet Feather Tracker is good. But Mystic Shot, it can sometimes hit Brightsteel Protector, but that's kind of top of its range. And usually, if you're killing their turn 1 play, they don't Brightsteel until later anyway.
Of course I'm ready. Don't mind me.
Can you suggest a deck on climbing from D4 to Master at this moment? I was gonna make a video on how to get to Master. I wanted to wait until after the balance change on Tuesday, because I'm gonna go through the stats and I'm gonna basically build a deck that's teched for climbing to Master in the following 2 weeks after the balance changes. I didn't want to like do that before the patch came out, because I think that will have some meta implications. I mean, I could burn his mana here, but like, okay, what's a play that he wouldn't make until he saw the Draven? There isn't really one, right? Just spam Bannerman. Bannerman is pretty good. Bannerman is a solid outskill deck. It's like, usually you're very vanilla into matchups. You don't have like polarized matchup tables, which is great. What that's gonna mean is you have the ability to outskill rather than being as dependent on specific things happening. This is kind of both a negative and a positive, depending on the situation. I don't know. Thermo Beam looks fine here. If he's gonna Prismatic Barrier, then that gives him some value. I don't really mind him popping a barrier like this. It's so easy for him to have that.
What are you waiting for?
I mean, he has mana banked, which means like if he plays Garen, we still can't really Thermo Beam it anyway. I think I can probably attack here, because even if he has like single combat, I can probably level the Draven here, right? What hand could he have that would really stop the Draven level? It's pretty much just deny, and I mean, if he's gonna deny my Whirling Death, hey, that's totally fine by me, right? So we have to choose what we're discarding with Spinning Axe here. Probably Rummage. I don't know, man. Is it probably Rummage? My Draven's gonna be generating a lot of Rummage targets. God, this is hard. Is it actually Arachnoid Sentry? Yeah, let's discard Arachnoid Sentry. This is maybe a little greedy. I'm not 100% sure about this discard. But yeah, Deny is kind of the only way to counter this, but you're also denying a 3-mana card, and you're using Deny in a matchup where Deny is actually kind of a bit of a scare that I wouldn't mind getting out of his hand. Repost is okay, you know. It keeps this thing alive, doesn't stop the Draven from leveling, which is, I would say, a pretty big deal. I don't mind this at all. Rummage. The problem with Rummage is that we're about to draw into 2 Spinning Axes.
I thought I was already hurt.
So I really value being able to turn these into actual cards. This looks good. Static has no value here. It's gonna be a little low, but static value is like long term. It usually gets there. I don't know. It's just a nice flexible tool, man. It's nice to have that option. So we kind of want to keep the Draven threat pounding. What that's going to mean is we need to do Rummage into Thermo Beam, basically, and I'm very happy to do that. We're kind of overcosting our Thermo by 1, but I think that's totally fine. Of course, there's no other way to, like, you know, to get better Thermo value. Looks pretty great to me. He's tapped out, so he doesn't have, like, anything crazy. And we've got Quick Attack and Overwhelm on Draven. This guy's pretty low, right? So we've got a few different plays here. He didn't take that attack. Shouldn't matter. Yeah, you would never take that attack no matter what your hand is. So the question is, do we open attack or we develop a threat like Boom Crew? Well, what are his scary plays here? Cythria can't block to a Mystic Shot. Garen can't block to a Mystic Shot. I mean, he basically can't block. What he could do is he could block the unit I develop here. And if it's Boom Crew, then he's getting good value. But if it's Trump Wump, he still can't block either to a Mystic Shot. And honestly, I mean, what else can he develop that's even a threat apart from a large unit? There's kind of nothing. I kind of want to just play Trump Wump and kind of devalue his blocks, go for some pressure. If he doesn't block anything, then I can just spam mushrooms for damage. Looks pretty good. I mean, Cytheria and Garen, both of his large plays tap him out here. And that's really, really, really important. Like, he can't do anything that's going to swing for big value, unless I'm, of course, forgetting about something specific. And, of course, if he wants to save for a fast counter, like the scariest... Okay, you always just... To decide on an open attack or not, you just have to ask yourself, are you more afraid of their fast things or their slow things? And we're probably more afraid of their fast things. The way he kills Draven is with, I don't know, something like a repost, I guess. I guess we're not really afraid of that either. Honestly, we're not really afraid of shit here. I guess I kill Cytheria? I don't know, dude's at 7. This dude's at 7. Why would I actually kill this Cytheria? I think there is definitely a reality where we get punished for not killing the Cytheria. It's like killing the Cytheria slows him down by so much, man. Like, what if he has like second deny or something and we need to like slow play it a bit? I'm actually... This is kind of a bitch move. I think there's some weird universe where our top decks are bad and he's got like a sick deny and we get like no mushrooms on the top that we can actually lose this game. And I'm thinking to myself, if I slow play this spot, like killing the Cytheria buys us like at least 2 more turns for draws.
Oh no, as a ward.
I mean, you can use the same argument in reverse as well. I mean, I can rummage into a slow speed option. Ezreal's not flipping here. The slow speed option would look like Arachnoid Sentry. Spinning axes are fairly devalued. I might want to keep 1 though, if I want to develop into an attack.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, this is fine. I'm very happy with this deck. I think it still does need some tweaks. And maybe it should be built differently. But I really like the idea we ended up with, which is just like kind of a slow burn. I mean, taking a Thermo Beam doesn't really do much here, right? It's like... Is open attacking good? I mean, open attacking will give us like static. Thermo Beam can really, really dip in value if we don't use it right now, though. It is very possible that we were just supposed to go face. I mean, I don't really see how we can win either way. It's low odds for him to win either way, whether we Mystic Shot that Cytheria or whether we Mystic Shot face. It's not a Radiant. So again, what are the threats? Slow or fast? Well, he's at 8, so it's no formation. So the scariest card he could play is like, you know, a big chunky Cytheria. We have another Boom Crew developing into the attack as well. Boom Crew threatens a little bit more damage. Are there like good slow speed counters to my Boom Crew? Not really. We've got enough mana for static plus Mystic, which is important because his answer could in theory be Cytheria plus Prismatic Barrier, which is a really narrow hand, but when you're ahead, you want to start putting your opponent on narrow hands, because when you're ahead, you don't want to take risks, right? So if he has Cytheria plus Prismatic, we need to save exactly enough mana for this. And we're of course going to do Mystic Shot first, force the Prismatic, and then Static Shock to clean up. Again, it might be kind of dumb for me to not be sending these into face. It's a very weird deck to play the finisher for, right? It's like, it's just a strange deck. I don't know, man. Is my Ezreal flipping here? Yeah. Ezreal's flipping either way, so I will hit Nexus, I guess? I don't know.
Time to go.
Yeah, just make sure to never try to level your Draven unless you have the Whirling Death. Never, ever, 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 ever.
Strength and grace, beauty in the play.
Okay. It definitely might have been like overly safe to just be trading the board here.
I trained for this.
Hardly fair.
I mean, keeping Draven alive is just better, right? It's got overwhelm. It's like, if he reposts, then I can trade, but, I mean, his repost is kind of annoying, I guess. Is it? Is it really annoying? I don't know. Repost plus a blocker?
Hey, buddy, what you doing?
I guess it's annoying enough.
This is gonna hurt for you.
He has a pretty chunky hand here. Why block? It's because, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's never gonna matter, but the only thing that could possibly punish this is... we're good to do. I guess repost plus single combat is a hand state that can make that matter. Yeah, repost plus single combat could. Second deny. I mean, these aren't doing anything.
Not my first fight.
I don't know. None of this matters, right? I did mess up the last like couple of plays. I think that block was definitely bad. I'm not sure what else there is to do there. But I mean, it really can't matter at this point. But yeah, that block was nonsensical. This is true. It's true. Aren't 3 experimenters too many? I wouldn't say so. No. It's sort of like the same logic as 3 progress days, which is that it is true that drawing 2 of them feels bad, but you really do want to be drawing one of them, and you need to be drawing one of them like so badly that I think running 3 makes a lot of sense. One thing I will say is that Augmented Experimenter psychologically feels worse to double draw than Progress Day, for sure. But in reality, it's pretty psychological. Drawing double Progress Day is almost always just as useless as double Experimenter, which is, of course, double Experimenter is completely useless. Double Progress Day is like 90% of the time also just completely useless.
Immerse yourself in the unknown.
But yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, we would have closed out this game a little bit faster. This definitely didn't have to go on quite so long. I mean, if you had deny, you gotta do it early. But yeah, that's the idea here. It's just flexible game plan. It's effectively much more of an outskill deck. I think that's like one of the most important qualities for a climbing deck is you want a deck that has a flexible game plan so you're less draw dependent. And that's why I don't think Karma Ezreal is a good climbing deck. It kind of seems at first like Karma Ezreal is like a big brain deck that if you're smart, there's payoff. And that is true. That is true. It is a high skill ceiling deck. However, I wouldn't call it an outskill deck. And the important thing there is like, for a deck to be like a good climbing outskill solid deck, and the same logic is true in tournaments, it needs to be very consistent. Like, you need to just be low variance and reliably able to, you know, take outskill into a win. And Karma Ezreal can be very draw dependent sometimes, or very matchup dependent sometimes. Both of those are true. So something like this is a bit better to climb with, and it might be even more so than like normal Nox Ezreal. That still remains to be seen. I'm still in experimental phases. I'm personally liking how it's looking so far, but yeah, we'll see. Game sound is still a bit loud. Okay, let me turn this down a little bit here. I think I'm also just like not as close to the microphone. I kind of have this bad habit of kind of leaning back or slouching away from the microphone, when in reality I think I'm probably supposed to be like ASMRing you guys.